Trefaloni has blown and they're underway. Inter, of course, find themselves under a bit of pressure. A season that began with a lot of optimism has disintegrated into one of underachievement. I'm going to run you through the two sides. Inter lining up with Julio Cesar in goal, Zanetti on the right, Favalli the left, Cordoba and Samuel the pairing in centre defence. Figo, Pizarro, Cambiasso and Stankovic play across the midfield four, and Cruz and the Brazilian Adriano up front. Adriano, of course, the decisive man last year with both goals in the 2-0 win here in the Olympic Stadium. The Roma side, Doni in goal, another Brazilian, as Figo looks to take an early free kick for the visitors. Let's see what happens here, and I'll run you through the Roma side. Figo swings it in. It's hit the near post, but it was weak. It was Cordoba there at the near post trying to perhaps flick it on or turn it goalwards, and he didn't manage to do that, and it's drifted harmlessly out for a goal kick. It gives me the opportunity to run you through the Roma side. Doni in goal as they attack from left to right as you're looking at it. Another Brazilian, two Brazilians in goal this evening. Panucci on the right, Cufré on the left of the defence, Kivu and Mexes in the centre. De Rossi, Kaja, Tomasi, Perotta and Mancini make a five-man midfield with De Rossi and Kaja slightly behind, supporting the midfield attacking three, as today is penalised for a push, perhaps, or offside even, appearing to be the linesman indication there as Inter now get the game back underway. And up front today, a Brazilian player who came to Roma at the start of last season is now up front and unsupported, plays up front on his own. And the midfielders look to get forward to support him for Roma. Perotta there penalised for a foul as the game starts, and Stankovic there, a miscontrol. It's a surprising piece of miscontrol there from a very gifted international player. Panucci for Rome as they look to settle in. My co-commentator this evening is Francesco Di Febbo. Francesco, Inter having a lot of problems off the field. How do you think that's going to affect their performance on it?
Evening, everybody. That's it. Inter is in a must-win position. Dressing room is quite warm. Tough head-to-head at the Madrigal Stadium when Inter got eliminated by Villarreal. And some players unhappy with Mancini and the way he's been handling the dressing room. Pizarro unhappy with the way he's been employed. Even when Veron was injured, it's been preferred to players like Zanetti and Cambiasso rather than pointing on the quality of...
Massi just springs the ball forward there, and today looking to defend it and maybe win a corner. He gets the throw in. Samuel there. A number of Argentinians, of course, playing in this Inter Milan side. Samuel, one of them. Actually, the throw goes to Inter. It's going to be taken by Favalli, and he throws it long up the line looking for Cruz, who was unable to get a header, but Adriano did, and Cruz perhaps can launch an attack for Inter. Stopped in a bit of a clash there. Kivu put his hands to his face as though he'd been hit perhaps there. I'm not sure it was intentional, but he perhaps took a blow in the face from the big Brazilian striker Adriano there.
Stotts already flying away, as you can see there.
Yeah, he did. As Adriano looked to go for the ball, he sort of clattered into Kivu. It looks as though he really felt that.
Some pressure over Adriano as well. He didn't perform quite well. It's been criticised by Mancini, deliberately saying that he's been scored only 10 goals so far this season. The other side, we've got Cruz, who played so well. We've got some hopes to be part of the Argentinian selection for the World Cup.
Yeah, that's going to be on the mind, of course, of a number of these players, with just the last few league games of the season upon us, and then that massive World Cup, of course. A lot of these players almost certain to be there. A couple of them still perhaps not quite sure of their places in national squads. Tomasi down the right now for Roma, looking to make progress. He's earned himself a throw, which he takes very quickly, very cleverly, and finds today who's in a bit of space. Today back to Kaja, young French player. He's pushed it out wide to Cufré.
So good to see Tomasi back on track after a long-term injury happening during the friendly match played against Stoke City.
Oh, De Rossi turned away from two players very smartly there and flicked the ball inside. It was a bit unlucky that he didn't find a Roma player. Tomasi battling, well played. Panucci's got room for a cross. It swings it in, but it's too high for today, and it's easily collected by Julio Cesar, who launches a counter-attack straight away, and Inter coming forward now. Pizarro, this clever gifted little Chilean international.
One of the pupil of Spalletti, actually, when he was in charge for Udinese.
Zanetti making progress down the right. He pushes the ball through, and there's an offside called against Cruz there, who perhaps made his run a little bit early. He's indicating to his teammate that the pass was a good one, though. Roma have a free kick and a chance to move the ball forward, gather their thoughts perhaps. Opening 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes. De Rossi caught in possession slightly there. He was a little bit slow to try and release the ball, and Adriano has it. Such a good player, of course, when he's on his game, but he can be inconsistent. The ball has been moved out right, where Figo is twisting and turning and trying to buy some space, and he wins himself a corner. First one of the match. Cufré doing his job very well there, sticking with Figo, but the Portuguese international has won a corner and an opportunity to put the ball into the box for the Milan-based side. He's going to take the corner himself. Swung in, and it's headed cleanly away. It looked like De Rossi there in the middle.
Yeah, De Rossi's clearance, but he lost the ball before. There's something tremendous.
Oh, and today has very smartly blocked Zanetti's attempted clearance, and he tries to find Mancini in the middle. It was a bit unlucky. Cesar read it well as the goalie and came out to collect that ball, but a couple of moments there of defensive hesitation, one from each side, and I wonder if that's the nerves, Francesco, as this big occasion gets underway.
Definitely a nerves matter. Not well measured, the pass from Tadej. Could have been decisive there.
Max says, and the referee has waved play on as Roma have the advantage, but they give the ball back almost immediately to Inter. And Figo has some space on the right in which to advance. Faced by two players, he makes a first-time pass. Adriano chips the ball cleverly over, and Cruz is onside, and Cruz has opened the scoring for Inter Milan as the Roma defence stood absolutely still. I'm not sure if they were waiting for an offside flag, but certainly one never came. And the Argentina international has calmly stroked the ball home and given Inter an early lead. Well, what do you make of that?
Well, Cruz found himself in the right place, the right moment, left completely unmarked. A gift grab chance for Cruz, a finalizer. Lovely distribution from Adriano, chipped the ball. An inside position for him, lovely control, and sent the ball into the back of the net. Fantastic finish, so cynical.
Let's have a look. This angle might give us an indication as to whether or not he was offside.
Controls the ball here.
Yeah, lovely little lay back to Adriano. Adriano then flips the ball over the fence, and fair enough, I think the referee and the linesman have got that absolutely right. Cruz just stayed onside, and what a good, calm finish. I think in the melee after that, a Roma player was booked. I saw the referee waving a yellow card. I'm not quite sure who it was to, as there were 3 or 4 Roma players surrounding him trying to argue against the decision, but we might learn a little bit later who it was that was booked. Roma, in actual fact, have a number of players who are risking missing the second leg of this final, of course. Tomasi, Tadej, Perotta, Mexes and Kivu have all been booked previously in the tournament in this year's Italian Cup competition, and if they get booked tonight, they'll miss the second leg. There's another replay of Cruz calmly stroking the ball home. Goodness me, he made it look like it was a training ground.
Shocking start. It was a shocking start for Roma. This is an away goal, so heavy considering the return tie as well.
Absolutely, a very, very positive start by Inter. A goal, and they're naturally, of course, now buoyed with a bit of confidence and starting to knock the ball around. Zanetti breezes past the defender. Kivu steps in well there, though, that has to be said. But Inter get the ball back, and Pizarro can keep possession. He's a busy, feisty little player, this guy, and he beats a man easily and passes the ball well. He's on the ball again.
Another key role is the fresh legs of Inter players, recovering a couple of first players who had a bit of rest in the Empoli match, lost by Inter 1-0.
Looking long again there towards Figo. Now, Figo was bundled to the ground. He seems to think that he earned a free kick, but I think in actual fact the decision is offside. You see another replay as Adriano very cleverly just flips the ball up and through the defence.
That was a great finish anyway. It's been playing on the close post and nothing to do for Doni. if it were overstretched.
Interesting tonight, Francesco, that we have two Brazilian goalkeepers, a country, of course, not particularly renowned for producing great goalkeepers, and suddenly there are 3 or 4 of them around, and 3 of them at leading Italian clubs.
I think De Rossi, Mancini and Perotta were the key role of the second attack of Roma.
Yeah, De Rossi very much, of course, part of the Italy squad for the World Cup coming up next month. He's a strong tackler, he passes the ball well. And he's growing in consistency as well. He's a little bit volatile at times, can get himself into trouble with referees, but he's even learning to control that part of his game as Perotta tries to send Mancini through, and Cordoba got a little bit lucky there. He anticipated the pass well, but then very nearly gave it to Mancini. Perotta tries a shot which is blocked, and it's fallen to Coufret. He's trying to hold off Figo. He's managed to do that, and he's been penalised for pulling Figo down as Figo used his body weight to defend the ball.
It has been dangerous, Perotta, if not blocked by Cordoba there.
It was a useful shot. I'm not sure if the keeper had it covered or if it was going to sway away from him, but it was a powerful shot by Perotta, and it hit the defender right in the head and was bounced away to safety. You just see the incident between Coufret and Figo, and I think probably right, the decision there by the referee. Coufret was tugging a little bit on the shirt of Figo.
So Inter blocking well the centre midfielders from Roma.
Cargio's got a little bit of space there, and he's going to try a shot. Crowd applauding very generously. Young French player, talented boy, but very inexperienced, of course, at this level.
First season for in the top flight in Serie A.
See the shot again, and it's very, very well wide, but it's good that he's got the confidence to at least try, and that's positive for Roma.
Spent 4 seasons up to Nana in Serie B. Made his debut in Portugal with Sporting Lisboa. So it's a little bit unexperienced, but it's a talented midfielder.
Roma still looking for this equaliser. Cargio plays it in, and the attempted flick on by Perotta there today rather was rather easily read by the Inter defence. And here's Perotta on the right, on the left-hand side. Poor control, but Roma still have the ball, and Mancini confined today. Nice touch back. De Rossi now building pressure, and that's the sort of it's unlucky. It's unlucky. That was better play from Roma. That was probably their best passage of the game so far, and interesting that the goal that Adriano created for Inter with that sort of flipped pass, and here's Cargio trying the same thing through for De Rossi, and again you see his aerial ability, trying to head the ball back into the danger area, but too close to the keeper.
Was interesting flick back anyway.
Cargio again. Perotta, rather simple pass there, and he's giving it straight back to Pizarro for Inter. And again, there's quite a lot of misplaced passes in this early stages, and as I say that, there's another one from today who can't quite find the run of Mancini, who cut in from the left and gone through forward and centre to try and distract the defenders and make some space for himself.
Yet forwards a little bit in a hurry. Should be waiting a little bit more. Today, this time he's passes twice towards Mancini so far. In the final third, Roma have to be cool and with the nerves quite chilled.
Certainly one player who will be cool is Tomasi, very experienced. Saw him a moment ago, just turning away from his man and keeping possession, moving along for the home side. Perotta there today, Coufret.
Good ball circulation now.
Roma just starting to build up ahead of steam. Panucci with the first time cross. Mancini turns in the area. Nice footwork. So he keeps possession. Tomasi, opportunity to cross perhaps. Hits the ball against Favalli. It doesn't go for a corner. But it is a Roma throw, and the crowd are really cheered by that. They're sensing that Roma perhaps are going to start really pushing to get back into this match. And, whoa, goodness me. Well, I thought it was a cross, but it ended up being a little bit more like a shot. I'm not entirely sure he intended it that way, but he very nearly scored.
You never know.
That's interesting. Julio Cesar had to backpedal and did well in the end to actually get a hand to it and put it out for a corner. Mancini, that's the third corner Roma have had. Again, that's a weak... Oh, it's beautiful control from the Brazilian, though. And he's won another corner. Lovely bit of skill from the Brazilian as he brought that high ball down.
There's a bit of a character as well. Always something to tell to the opponents after a foul, Mancini.
Fourth corner for Roma. Mancini again with it. Goes short this time. Karja looking to find Mancini. He does. He stayed on side. That was a clever piece of play from Roma. That's a nice ball in, which is dealt with. Perotta shoots, but it's into the ground. It's up in the air. It's still floating around. The Roma player has stayed down in the penalty area as Inter clear it, and they might. Crowd are unhappy, but Inter are playing on. Inter are playing on as Perotta chases back, and Perotta is perhaps being fouled there by Figo. Pull on the shirt.
If you apply the rules here, Figo could have been carded for it. And you see that what happened again into the mix, as I think Kivu was elbowed a little bit too much.
We might see a replay on that, but Kivu certainly stayed down, and but there was a half chance there for Rome, and the ball was bobbling around, and it could easily have fallen to one of their players in a favourable position. As it is, it remains 1-0 to Inter. Another long ball searching out today, but again he's unable to do anything against this strong central defensive partnership of Inter.
Cordoba is a lovely jumper. He's a great jumper.
Starting to come into the game. Karja cutting back. Mancini easily robbed by Cambiasso there, though. Roma players appealing for a free kick, but there certainly wasn't one. Mexes, clever piece of skill, and he goes for the shot left foot, which is blocked. And again, and it's a corner, and Roma's fifth corner, and the crowd now starting to sense that this might be the moment. See what happens here. Kivu, the camera follows him. Can't really see from that replay as Adriano again gets a defensive header in. Part of his game, the Brazilian, that's often overlooked. Strong challenge there by Cruz, but a fair one. He got the ball. Looking to go down the line with a counter-attack, but he shows far too much of that to Kivu. And the Romanian clears up.
I didn't see Pizarro too much tonight.
No, he started very brightly the first 5 or 6 minutes, but he seems to have faded out in the last 20 or so, certainly, as Roma have pushed forward looking for this equaliser. There'll be plenty of shots, of course, of Francesco Totti on the bench. He desperately wants to play, but after 2 months out, this might be too big a game for him to be able to do much more than make a cameo appearance. Adriano winning the battle with Mexes, who turns smartly, wins the free kick, takes it quickly. Too quickly for the referee. Takes it back. It was 10 yards away from where the incident actually happened, but the referee's happy with that one. Okay.
Could have played the advantage there.
Perhaps should have played the advantage, absolutely, as Mexes was on the ball and was keeping the action going for Roma. The free kick comes to nothing. Here's Pizarro. As you mentioned, he's kind of drifted in and out. Adriano plays the ball inside for Cambiasso. The pass to Favalli is slightly behind him, but Favalli can retrieve it and finds I thought it was Cruz. It was actually Stankovic making the break, and it was a lovely pass, and Stankovic was alone, but Donny had read the situation and came out well to cover that chance.
It was inside.
Roma have certainly been the better side for most of this half, but it's Inter that have the all-important goal. And they won't mind being attacked into because they're quick and strong on the counter-attack. Cordoba goes down, and another yellow card, and this time it's for today. And in fairness, that is his third or fourth clumsy challenge of the match. I don't think it's as bad as Cordoba is making out, but nevertheless, that's another clumsy tackle from today, and he's booked, and he will miss the second leg. He will miss the second leg next Thursday evening at the San Siro in Milan. And that could present Roma with a few problems, because he's really the only player that is capable of playing as a striker, unless Francesco Totti makes a near miraculous return to full fitness.
Another frustration foul from today.
They have a couple of strikers on the bench, Roma. Nonda, but he's another one who's coming back after a long spell out with injury, and a very gifted young player called Akaka, who's already scored in the Italian Cup this season, became the youngest player to score in the Italian Cup with a goal against Napoli in one of the earlier rounds, but certainly very inexperienced. The ball is launched long there, but aimlessly into the Roma penalty area. You certainly wouldn't want to be going to the San Siro looking for 2 or 3 goals with an 18-year-old striker. Adriano holds off Kivu, uses his strength well, beats Kivu there, then goes to ground, and I think he'll probably get the free kick, the Brazilian.
Easy to wait. It's been pushing away Kivu from there. I mean, it's up on the referee, actually. If you see the foul, it's been starting from before. I think that was Adriano one. That Kivu kept off balance, fouled him back.
Regardless, Inter now have the free kick. This, of course, a vital time. If they could grab a second goal on the stroke of half-time, that would be a hammer blow for Roma, particularly as they've looked the better side for most of this first half without creating too many clear-cut chances. But it's a long-range shot. Goodness me, that was a fantastic save.
Great save.
What a great effort that was. And Donny scrambling across his goal and pushing it away for a corner. Absolutely magnificent effort.
He left it from the top corner. It's straight on the top corner.
It was rather a surprising effort. It looked as though it was going to be dinked into the air, and instead it was a shot, and it was a very, very good one. And Roma now have to defend this corner, which they do. Kaja heads away well. In to have the ball. Cordoba looking long for Figo, but it's not going to reach him. De Rossi now calmly back to his French teammate. A lovely play by De Rossi there, spreading the ball well. First time passing. Panucci looking for support. He gets it from Tomasi. He's looking long again for the run of Perotta, who's made a break into the penalty area. There's a bit of push and shove, and the ball has drifted off, and it's...
That was a ball to hand, but I think that was a corner. First, last man touched the ball was...
what a bizarre... Neither man really had the ball under control there, and it looked, yes, absolutely, as though the last touch was off Inter Milan's Cordoba, Colombian central defender, and Perotta was certainly claiming a handball. I'm not sure that it was a handball, but certainly it was a corner. Trefaloni again punishing Roma.
I think we're going to have a couple of minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah, De Rossi there, jumping quite high and landing his elbow on the shoulder of Cruz. Long ball, and that's way too long for Stankovic. Knocks it back into play with a very theatrical back heel. There's replay of the free kick. That was a magnificent save. Really, really good save to keep his side, not only in this game, but possibly even in the final itself, because 2-0 at half-time in the away leg would have been an enormous mountain for Roma to climb down.
It could be the same result of last Thursday leg final.
Absolutely. Adriano, the protagonist last year with 2 goals in the final, the second, an absolutely magnificent strike. De Rossi there giving the ball away rather clumsily, and Figo has the opportunity, and that's a very, very intelligent ball, and Cruz is bearing down on goal, and Donny has come out, and Donny, in fairness, did very, very well, because Cruz was in. I think his touch let him down a little bit. He looks very disappointed with himself. He perhaps overran the ball, but he gave the keeper just the chance to get a hand or a foot or an elbow on it or something, and it's deflected away.
Fantastic pass from Figo.
Yeah, lovely play from Figo. He cut inside and recognised that Cruz was running into a good space, and Cruz perhaps should have done better. And perhaps that would be clear on a replay. Panucci clearing, but he's being fouled in the process, and that might well be the last significant action of this first half. It's almost 48 minutes old now. I don't remember too many stoppages. There was one certainly for Figo earlier on when he clattered into Perotta and came off worst.
There's one from Kivu as well. The early stage was touched by Adriano.
It's been an interesting first half. It hasn't really caught alight the game, we have to be honest, but Samuel miscontrols the ball there, and it goes off for a Roma throw, and this deep now into time added on at the end of this first half, and there's perhaps a foul there by Pizarro. Trefaloni agrees, And Roma have an opportunity right at the very death of this first half. And today looks like he's going to try and whip this ball across the face of the Inter goal.
It's the last chance before half-time. We've seen Mexes on the far post as well.
It's floated in, it's headed on and in to clear it, but it's not very well cleared, and Mexes, well, he looked as though he was going to try and let it run out of play, Mexes, but the ball didn't appear to be moving quickly enough, and he's been pushed in the back. But the referee has ended all the dispute over that decision by bringing the end to the first half. The start of this second half, we've got just one change. The Roma central defender, Christian Chivu, has been replaced by Bovo, a young Italian defender of considerable talent. Might mean a bit of a reshuffle in the Roma defence, as Bovo tends to play wide, but he's capable of playing in other positions, and Roma attack the goal to your left in this second half. Today, chasing the ball through there. Today booked towards the end of the first half after 2 or 3 rather clumsy forwards challenges. He was letting his nerves get a little bit the better of him in that first half. Bovo, in fact, does seem to have been slotted into the central defensive position as Mancini chases this ball through and Zanetti hooks it away. Zanetti appealing that the ball perhaps came off the Brazilian, but and indeed the referee and linesman have agreed with him. Mancini shakes his head there, but Zanetti, as he cleared the ball, obviously managed to scrape it off Mancini's shoulder or back perhaps, and Inter have the goal kick. My co-commentator Francesco Di Febbo, what must Roma do in this second half to open up this game? Because although they had most of the possession, they were a little bit disappointing in the final third, weren't they?
I'd say should push a little bit more on the wings. I'd say Tomasi's a little bit more defensive.
Just as you say that, sorry to interrupt, just as you say that, they do try to push down that wing. Mancini, unfortunately, not able to keep that ball in play. It was a little bit too far ahead of him.
Alvarez is warming up, but I think he's replacing Tomasi on the right wing, as he's been controlling Stankovic quite well, Tomasi, in the first half, but he didn't push too much. Perhaps
Spalletti will feel that Alvarez's greater attacking ability will give Roma more options going forward. Alvarez is from Honduras. He's a young player, extremely quick and very direct, likes to run at players, creates problems for defenders. That might be what Roma need in this second half. Inter, though, snuffling out that attack without too much trouble. The ball is launched forward, but Mexes chests it down calmly and elegantly and starts strolling forwards. Looks to have overdone it there, but the referee has given him the benefit of the doubt and awarded a free kick, which Roma are looking to take quickly, and Mexes knocks it across to De Rossi. Another first-time pass from De Rossi. Did several of those in the first half, including 1 or 2 absolute peaches, and Perotta breaks into the area beautifully, and he's got the opportunity to get the ball across here for Rome. Kaja keeping possession in, and in the end Panucci, sight of glory in his eyes there, and it rather distracted him, and he has hoofed the ball hopelessly high and wide. But a good, strong, positive start to the second half for Roma here. Perotta bursting through. Good low cross, intelligent use of the ball.
Today they're a little bit too late. I've seen Cesar warming up on the other side, so it'll be another challenge on the wing, and the right wing from Inter. Cesar will be employed, probably replacing Figo.
Well, we thought perhaps towards the end of the first half, as Figo was injured in a rather heavy challenge with Perotta, and it's lovely. Goodness me, today again in there, and this time he did have a sight of goal, and he rushing back to get the ball for the Inter Milan goalkeeper. Nipped in at the near post today. That's the first actual sight of goal he's had. Lovely dummy.
Great move from Perotta. It's a good start for Roma, actually. It's first 3 minutes.
Very positive start. I'm sure Spalletti would have had serious words in that dressing room, because although they had a lot of possession, they didn't create very much. And Mancini again, and he goes for the return, and he's got the return, and he flips it across the area, but it's just gone in front of Perotta, who'd made the break from midfield, and it drifts off for a goal kick. But Spalletti, you can see, very much encouraged by that start. He's applauding his players. He looks a lot happier.
Mancini here put it in the right way, in the right place. Perotta was a little bit too late. He was spotting on the first post and close post. He's It's got off direction from Mancini's cross.
He's been such an important player for them, Mancini, this season. Brazilian player. He started, as I said to you at the start of the game, he began his career at Roma as a sort of attacking right wing back, and he then lost his place in the side when he got injured, lost some form, but he's bounced back in style this season and really does look a very good player, comfortable on the ball, he's quick, he can beat a man, and he's got a good eye for goal. Roma again, very positive start, and that's a nice first time ball out if it can reach Panucci. It doesn't. Favalli cuts it out and does very well, the defender, but again it's Roma being positive and looking for this equaliser. Lofting the ball into penalty area. Cute idea, but there were no Roma players on the end of it, and Figo now bringing the ball forward for Inter Milan. He had a couple of moments in the first half, Figo, where he just looked like the player we remember from his glory days, perhaps in Spain. He beat a man and turned back and inside and putting nice passes across the field. He sent Cruz free with a beautiful pass towards the end of that first half, and Cruz perhaps should have done better. He let his control get the better of him. Today, walking back from an offside position, not attempting to get that ball. And Cordoba, this time looking to go long. He's found Cruz, who's held the ball up under pressure, but in actual fact, well, I thought the referee had blown for a handball by Cruz there, but in actual fact, he's given the free kick the other way. Foul by Bovo, who's come on as a substitute.
Just closed him down. The referee decided to concede the free kick. Another interesting option could be replacing Alvarez with...
that was a nice touch by Stankovic, and Favalli's got an opportunity to put the ball into the danger area, but he pulls the ball back too far for his forwards, and De Rossi collects and looks to get Roma moving towards that Inter Milan goal. The still trail, of course, 1-0. Early goal from Cruz, and Roma have a opportunity here, and that's a lovely ball in. De Rossi with a feint, and Mancini has equalised for Rome, and that, you have to say, is a deserved outcome from the way they have started this second half. They had lots of possession in the first half but didn't really create much, and in this second half they've already created 2 or 3 very dangerous opportunities, and Mancini kisses his sweatband and raises it high to the Cordoba. The Roma fans, of course, behind the goal. Francesco Totti looking very happy today. He plays the ball in. That's a lovely touch from De Rossi, completely aware of where Mancini was. Took the defender out of the game and left Mancini, well, not an easy chance, it has to be said, but he took it very comfortably, didn't he?
Absolutely. It was left completely unmarked once again. I think Inter players are still in the dressing room. They're not back from half-time. Not concentrated, not motivated. Roma started so well. Terrific beginning from them.
Really positive opening, and they're coming forward again, and it's that time Pizarro does manage to get a tackle in. Confirmation there of the score. Stankovic now looking to put Inter Milan back in front. He's beaten a couple of challenges, but is shrugged off the ball at the end there. He loses it, and Roma come forward. Long ball searching out Mancini, but I don't think he's going to be able to get on the end of that one. Zanetti, this experienced Argentina player, very fit man, constantly up and down that right-hand side. He hasn't done too much attacking so far in this game. Once they scored that early goal into, they were happy to sit back and look to defend it.
Should have controlled Mancini in that case. He was just cutting it on the first, it was left completely unmarked, and I think Javier Zanetti should have took care of him.
Yeah, perhaps when he sees a replay of that goal, Zanetti, he might feel that he should have been closing Mancini down, but certainly it was a very slick move by Roma. The ball in from today, and you're going to see it again here, and this is just a delicious touch from Daniele De Rossi. That's why he's so highly rated. Sabrina Ferilli, for those of you who don't know, is a very popular and well-known, and the ball goes into the Inter Milan area again, and again there's a little bit of a headache for the Inter Milan defenders. They were so composed through most of that first half, and in the first 11 and a half minutes of this second half they've been rattled already 3 or 4 times. As Roma perhaps look to take advantage of the fact that temporarily they've got a man over. That ball down the line for today. He's chasing it. He's defended by Cambiasso, but the ball has come back from Panucci, and Panucci has overhit 3 or 4 crosses tonight, and that's another one. But Mancini can collect. He's taking on Zanetti. Lovely double step over, and he gets away from the Argentinian, but there's no free kick. Mancini with a very Italian gesture. You can tell he's been living in Italy for a few years. And Adriano looks to power through the defence, and that one is given. And you can hear the reaction of the crowd.
There's a yellow card waiting Mexes.
Mexes is doing that typical defender's gesture, and another Italian, you don't know what you're doing, referee kind of gesture there from Mexes. And that must be a very frustrating passage of play for Roma, because at one end they weren't given a free kick, and at the other end, as Adriano powers through, Mexes not only gives away the free kick, but he's booked. And Mexes is also one of the Roma players on a yellow card, and he will also now miss the second leg, and that is a bitter blow for Roma. That is a bitter blow for Roma.
I think we're going to see Kufuor employed in a week's time at San Siro Stadium.
Kufuor, the Ghana international, who was bought from Bayern Munich at the start of the season. In fact, in the first 2 months of the season, he was probably Roma's best player. Really was very, very solid. He got an injury, was left out of the side as a result of that, and in came Mexes, and Mexes found his form and played magnificently, and Kufuor's been unable to get back in the team.
Spalletti wasn't happy about his discipline. He decided to move back to Ghana for the African Cup of Nations, back to Egypt in December, so right before the start of the World Cup, which was in January, of the African Cup of Nations, sorry. That's why Spalletti was really upset for it. He's been out of the squad.
And let's see what happens with this free kick. Pizarro steps over it, and Cruz, well, he's lifted it very high and wide there. Obviously fancied his chances. He scored 1 goal this evening. I'm surprised that Adriano didn't have a go. That looked a little bit more within Adriano's range than Cruz. He was trying to curl it and place it in the top corner, but he was an awful long way out to try and
Donny was there
to
anyway.
Score that sort of free kick.
So okay, that would be a chance.
Well, there's a break here, and again the cameraman was a little bit slow, and Mancini has an opportunity. Cordoba just stepped across in time there. Nice defending as Mancini, very good defending as Mancini looked to get in behind him, but Roma again, as we say, pushing forward. Here's today. He's got a little bit of time and space. That's a lovely ball through. And Cesar comes out and claims it at the feet of Perotta. Another good run from Perotta. He wasn't making many of those runs in the first half, but in this second half he's been pushing through from midfield, as we see this moment again.
Burdisso missed the header completely.
And then Cordoba steps in with the left foot to deny Mancini a shooting opportunity. Donny cleverly throwing the ball through his own legs. A little bit of an incident from the training ground perhaps there, as he was under no pressure. Mancini winning the throw-in. Will Inter Milan be happy with a 1-1 result, do you think, Francesco, or will they be looking to try and score a second?
Looking at the substitution, I think Cesar would be a little bit more offensive than Stankovic. He didn't play quite well. But this is an away goal anyway, a 1-0. It's good to be back at San Siro.
Cesar, of course, another former Lazio player, so he's getting a very warm reception from the Roma fans. Stankovic, as you say, very disappointing game overall from the Serbian international. He's such a good player, but he really hasn't found his form in the last few games.
He's been controlling Tomasi a little bit too much. He should have pushed rather than waiting for Tomasi.
Panucci coming down the right-hand side. He's had a decent match, Panucci. His crossing's been a little bit off, but he's gone forward well. He's kept Favalli pegged back in the Inter Milan half. And Favalli's another one who likes to get forward, so Panucci's done a good job there. Ball in the corner now and battling away with it, and somehow keeps that on. He did remarkably well. Today's first touch lets him down, but he's got a second chance. He can get the ball back in. He opts to go safe to De Rossi, and De Rossi has found Mancini, and there's
did so well, missed control.
I don't know if Mancini realised that the defender was going to miss that ball, and perhaps he just took his eye off it as it dropped. 7th corner for Roma. Mancini's going to take it. Just a little moment there that Mexes up at the back post, very tall, very good jump, but couldn't get any direction on the header. And we have a substitution here for Roma. The number 35 you can see there is Okaka, who I mentioned earlier in the match as the youngest player ever to score in an Italian Cup game. He's Nigerian born, but he's been brought up in Italy. Came through the Roma youth team, and Inter also taking this opportunity to make a change. Adriano, who set up the goal, but has otherwise had a fairly quiet and unproductive match, is making way for Obafia Martins, whose pace might well trouble the Roma defence in these last 10 minutes. And Tomasi, a hero's reception, of course, coming off.
Special
and making way for Okaka.
Special plus for Tomasi, if you consider he's earning the minimum wage ever. Coming back with 1,400 euros per month.
Very interesting gesture that, actually, Francesco. You mentioned that Tomasi, who spent the best part of 2 years being paid a full and very generous wage while he was sat on the sidelines, when he came back from injury, made the quite astonishing gesture of accepting the minimum wage for a professional player in Italy. So he's now earning a much smaller sum for playing at this level, and a remarkable gesture from a player who is idolised by these Roma fans. Of course, he was the captain for many years. Good, solid midfielder, international for Italy, of course, played in the last World Cup. Fans may remember as the ball comes into the area there, and today looks to get it. Ooh, it's Perotta rather, but he just at the edge there, and Roma have another corner. It's their 8th.
Interesting to see Okaka, the pure forward.
Very interesting young player, this guy. Coming up to the... Had a chance of a header there, but and headed it down, which is what they tell you to do, but he headed it well wide. And we're going to see, I think, the introduction of this young man, Honduran. His name is Alvarez. He's extremely quick and direct, and he's been used quite a lot with very good effect as a substitute by Spalletti this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been playing gently, calmly, with no pressure.
And it's Mancini coming off. He's hobbling a little bit. Now, I'm not sure if that's genuine or if that's the... Quite often see it from experienced players when they're substituted, don't you?
Yeah, but one of the most employed players. I mean, he's absolutely on duty to be tired a little bit. He's been playing all the matches.
He scored the equaliser.
He's back from injury.
In fairness to him, he's still not looking very happy. He scored that vital equaliser for Roma in the early stages of the second half. He was involved in that incident just now where he claimed a penalty. I'm not sure that there was a penalty there, although, as you say, Francesco, they do occasionally get given. Into Milan for the moment, looking to come forward. Roma fans trying to lift their team for these last 2 or 3 minutes of time. And Perotta, oh, he almost got past his man, and he's got Alvarez in space, and Alvarez has a chance to shoot, and he does, and he's it. Oh, goodness gracious me! And at the second attempt,
what a save from Julio Cesar.
Second attempt, Julio Cesar blocks it. Well, Perotta does ever so well. Cambiasso just gets a foot on the ball, which holds the play up a little bit, and Alvarez, his first touch looks a bit heavy and he doesn't really connect with the shot, but nevertheless it was accurate. It was headed for the corner and he got it with his foot, and the second attempt, Alvarez, has to be said, was a little bit weak. He rather panicked as the ball came back to him and slashed at it with his left foot, and it was an easy one for Cesar. But that first save, well, I wonder how important that will be at the end of 180 minutes of play. Another foul there, and a yellow card is distributed.
Pizarro, I think.
Yeah. Perotta jumped to the challenge, but Pizarro left his foot in and seemed to catch Perotta's ankle. The Carter's on again.
The clearest chances of the second half, wasn't it?
Yes, certainly. He found himself in a lot of space. His first touch, perhaps the first touch, frightened him a little bit. He seemed to take a little bit too much of a touch on it, and as a result, he perhaps rushed the shot when a good first touch would have given him the time to play a calmer, more thoughtful shot into a corner. He rather rushed it, he snatched at it, but Cesar, not to take anything away from him, he stuck his foot out and did his job and made a good save. Players taking the opportunity there to take some water on board, just ticking away the last few seconds as the Roma dignitaries, Rosella Sensi. I wonder what she'll be thinking right now about this result. Very much, of course, still in the race for a Champions League spot with Fiorentina. 4 places available to Italian clubs. Let's just watch this free kick. It's floated in. Well, that's interesting.
It is.
De Rossi has stayed down. Francesco Totti, the camera focuses in on him there, and
assistant didn't notice that.
Well, if you don't speak Italian, Francesco Totti is asking, not very politely, what on earth the referee's assistant is looking at. Well, I'm not sure it was in the face. I think De Rossi's trying to indicate that he was hit in the face, and it seemed more to me to be the sort of backside of the head. Favalli's smiling at him, the old pro.
The assistant kept his flag quite low tonight.
Yes. Yeah, he hasn't given very much. He missed an incident in the first half, of course, those of you that were with us, where Cordoba appeared to put an elbow into the back of Kufre's head, and both referee and the referee's assistant missed that. 49 minutes now have gone. That's the 4 minutes of added time, although we've had a couple of stoppages in stoppage time. And
booking for Martin. So another 4 players got into being booked.
And he hasn't been on very long, Martin. He's perhaps only touched the ball once or twice, and he's been booked. Kufre now, surely this has got to be the last chance. Pizarro diving in there and pushing the ball out of play for a Roma throw, and Okaka turns his man very well, but runs into the second challenge, and in actual fact has given away the free kick. He obviously followed through a little bit on Cambiasso, as you see De Rossi's frustration there as he punches the ball back in the direction of the foul.
Yeah, referee had his job in the second half.
See Francesco Totti there on the sidelines, shouting instructions to his teammates.
Time wasting from
I wonder if we'll see him in the second leg. The ball is launched long, and there it is. The end of the first, well, effectively the first half of this Italian Cup final. Italy play 2 legs, and the first half here in the Olympic Stadium, Rome, has finished even Stevens.
Yes.